You stepped inside with a vibe I ain't never seen. Yes, you did. Ooh, so girl, if you talk like you walk, come and talk to me.
Hi guys! Welcome to our vlog! Can you tell us why are we here, Asia?
Because in a province full of heritage, Maribohok holds a structure that is literally one of a kind in the entire Philippines.
Punta Cruz! Ano? Tara!
Good morning, everyone. Today, our group is heading out from Tagularan City. We are traveling about 14 kilometers west to the municipality of Maribohok, where we can see or discuss about the watchtower or the Punta Cruz Tower.
We've arrived, and right there, framed by the Bohol Sea, is the Fuerte de San Vicente Ferrer, better known as the Punta Cruz Watchtower. Let's find out why this isn't just a pretty old building.
Standing along the coastline of Maribohok, the Punta Cruz Watchtower immediately captures attention, not only because of its age, but because of its location. Facing the vast Bohol Sea, the structure was strategically positioned to monitor approaching vessels during the Spanish colonial period. Its elevated placement gave guards a clear advantage in spotting danger long before it reached nearby settlements. What makes the experience even more powerful is the atmosphere surrounding the tower. The sound of the waves, the salty sea breeze, and the quietness of the area create a feeling that connects visitors to the past. Even before learning its history, the structure already communicates a sense of endurance and survival. Today, many people visit the site for photographs or scenic views. But behind the beautiful landscape lies centuries of stories involving defense, colonization, religion, and community life. The Punta Cruz Watchtower is not simply preserved because it is old. It is preserved because it represents an important chapter in the identity of Bohol and the overall Visayas.
But history isn't always simple. While we celebrate this as a defensive shield, historians also point to the reduction system. The Spanish used towers like this to force locals to live within hearing distance of the church bells, making it easier to collect taxes and enforce labor.
Historical sites often carry multiple meanings depending on whose perspective is being considered. While the tower is commonly remembered as protection against raids, historians also encourage people to examine the colonial systems connected to structures like this. The reduction policy reorganized communities around churches and administrative centers. From the Spanish perspective, this created order and easier governance. However, for many Filipinos, it also meant tighter colonial control over daily life, taxation, labor, and movement. This reminds us that heritage sites are not always symbols of pride alone. they can also represent periods of struggles, resistance, and unequal power relationships. Understanding both sides allow people to appreciate history more critically instead of viewing it as purely heroic or purely negative. Even the word piracy changes depending on historical interpretation. Colonial records often portrayed moral forces as invaders, while modern scholars argue that many of these conflicts were responses to Spanish expansion and interference in Mindanao and surrounding regions. This difference in interpretation shows how history is shaped not only by events but also by who records them. On the next clip is an interview of a resident in Punta Cruz, Maribojoc, wherein he tells us about a deeper history or a hidden history of Punta Cruz Watchtower.
Oh, tanamin mo sir, kanang unsay mo maingon na sir?
Kani siya sa una sa mga karaan o pata mga tao atong girikanan. Kay 17 gani 1796.
26.
O mao ni prisuan sa mga dinakpan sa una sa mga katsila kanang mga kalaban nila ba. Ani largo man ni buho may ilaw ni sa una largo dito.
Laom pa ni?
Kanang na ilaw man ikot langan puno na bunbunan ito sa kadugay na.
Ano po gakuan sila sir gagama sila kanang
Ay siyempre ugnay kani puntak pus mao ni mga katsila man ni puntak pus sila may gagama ani sa una sa mga katsila kay katong mo ni ginganag punta kay kuno sa una gyud nasakyanan ng murag
barko.
kanabang di barko kanang nay kanang ilayag ba layag ko sa una taw nga kuano may makina sa una dunggo sila ni mo gingan na nagpunta kay mo ni puntaria nila sa mga katila sa una ni nga nagpunta cross gihimo an nila ni kuan tower silbi mo ni tower sa mo ni nga nagpunta cross dungan ni pagama da simbahan sa Maribojoc
Dugay na jud kayo ni.
mao ni siya na 1996.
Historically, this is a navigational beacon. The miraculous light was likely the sun reflecting off these polished white coral walls. And those crying stones, its capillary action. The porous coral sweats when atmospheric pressure drops, making it a natural barometer for incoming storms.
Folklore plays an important role in preserving cultural identity because stories are often passed down long before written records become available. In many communities, legends surrounding historical places help keep local traditions alive across generations. The story of the Growing Cross reflects how people in the past interpreted unexplained natural phenomena through faith and spirituality. During times of danger or uncertainty, miraculous stories provided comfort and strengthened community belief. At the same time, scientific explanations reveal how natural conditions may have inspired these legends. The bright reflection from coral walls combined with intense sunlight near the sea could easily appear mysterious from a distance. Likewise, the porous structure of coral stone reacting to humidity and pressure changes explains why locals observe the walls crying before storms. Rather than destroying the magic of these stories, science and folklore together deepen our understanding of how people connected with their environment. The myths surrounding Punta Cruz therefore become part of its living heritage, not just fiction, but reflections of how communities interpreted the world around them.
Pangutan namin mo ya. Kanang anong ni ubos man ang dagat.
Tungod sa paglinog ni Jan Saka ni Jadere.
Asa man ni katas ang dagat?
Dili sa una ani.
No, diri no. Law na ni kayo no.
Law ni sa una ga na kuan pa ni na mabaw ni kay tambakan po ni kay gikubkuban man na ilaw ni aga pikas kay himuon ni swimming pool sa inka ni Basco sa una. Sa mayor pa sila di sa Maribo, si Mayor Basco. Si mom gani swimming pool, wa matuman lang mo, nagikaputkutan na diyan na kanang kinut ka na mga puti nga bato, kinutkot na diya sa the plane, para mulaw mo na siya diya.
Aso lang pa jud ni.
This is the part that blows my mind. This grass we're standing on. Before the 2013 earthquake, this was underwater.
The 2013 Bohol earthquake permanently transformed both the landscape and the lives of the communities surrounding Punta Cruz. While many people remember the destruction of churches and infrastructure, fewer realize that the earthquake also altered the coastline itself. Geological uplift occurs when movements beneath the Earth's crust push land upward. In Maribohok, this sudden shift exposed coral beds and sections of seabed that had previously remained underwater for centuries. What is now dry land was once part of the shoreline, touched directly by waves. This transformation demonstrates how heritage sites are not frozen in time. Even centuries-old landmarks continue to interact with natural forces such as earthquakes, erosion, climate, and changing coastlines. The Punta Cruz Watchtower therefore represents not only colonial history, but also the resilience of communities adapting to environmental change. The earthquake also serves as a reminder that cultural heritage is fragile. Preserving places like Punta Cruz requires continuous conservation because both human activity and natural disasters threaten their survival.
It's about the tunnel signaling systems, those ancient codes of smoke and fire that are slowly fading from our collective memory. It's about the invisible threads that connect this tower to the Maribook charts through legends of sacred tunnels. And it's about the living faith of the fishermen we see out there today, who still stand across towards these walls before they cast their nets. They don't see a historical site. They see a guardian that has never left its post.
Receiving both the titles of National Historical Landmark and National Cultural Treasure is extremely rare. These recognitions mean that the Watchtower is valuable not only for the events connected to it, but also for the craftsmanship and cultural knowledge embedded within the structure itself. As a historical landmark, the tower reflects the defensive strategies used during the Spanish era. Coastal communities across the Visayas constantly faced threats from raids and conflicts arriving through maritime routes. Watchtowers like Punta Cruz formed part of a communication and defense network that allowed settlements to prepare for incoming attacks. At the same time, the tower is admired for its architecture and engineering. Its triangular design is highly unusual in the Philippines, making it instantly recognizable among other Spanish-era watchtowers. The use of argamasa also demonstrates the ingenuity of local builders during the colonial period. By combining lime, sand, and egg whites, workers created a strong mortar capable of enduring harsh coastal conditions for centuries. The structure therefore becomes more than a military facility. It becomes evidence of Filipino craftsmanship, adaptation, and architectural creativity during a complex period of history.
As our journey here at Punta Cruz comes to an end, we realize that we didn't just visit a tourist spot. We stepped into a story that is still being written. Visiting the Castillo has taught us that heritage isn't just about coal, old stone, or dates and a textbook.
Standing above the coastline as the sun sets over Bohol, it becomes clear that Punta Cruz is more than a destination. It is a bridge between generations. Every stone, every crack in the wall, and every story connected to the site carries memories of the people who lived, defended, built, and survived here. This visit reminds us that heritage becomes meaningful only when people continue to learn from it. Historical places are not preserved simply for tourism or aesthetics. They are preserved because they help communities understand identity, culture, and the lessons behind of the past. Punta Cruz teaches us that history is layered. It contains beauty and conflict, faith and science, and of course, pride and criticism. By exploring all these perspectives, we move beyond memorizing facts and begin understanding how the past continues to influence the present. And perhaps that is the true importance of heritage, not just remembering what happened, but also recognizing why those stories still matter today. We chose to promote this site because it is a bridge between two worlds. It is a vital link to our colonial past, where our ancestors fought for survival, and a witness to our geological present, where the earth itself rose up to change the landscape.
Through this project, we have learned that preserving heritage isn't just about keeping the building standing. It's about making sure that the stories don't stop. And if we don't stop talking about the egg white mortar, the weeping coral, or the 2013 uplift, then the tower truly becomes just a pile of rocks. But as long as we share its secrets, it stays alive.
So, the next time you're in Bohol, don't just follow the crowds to the hills. Follow the history to the coast.
The Punta Cruz Watchtower has stood its ground through Spanish cannons, pirate raids, and massive earthquakes. It has been standing guard for over 200 years, waiting for the rest of the world to finally notice. Because some treasures aren't buried in the sand. They're standing tall against the tide.